I'm here to tell you that I'm determined because whatever has been trying to stop me from making this video since yesterday will not prevail. I have a message to deliver and I will do so effectively now. Watch this whole video. Watch it in its entirety. I don't care what happens in the background. Just focus, listen, pay attention to what's going on. Because since yesterday, funny story before I just get into the guts of this, I started shooting a video on this very phone that I hold in my hand. And do you know, the first thing that happened was the iPhone ran out of space and it cut my video short. That video was in the moment, in the zone, on purpose, on target, and I was so upset that that video got deleted yesterday because I ran out of space and couldn't continue the video in its entirety. Then the next thing that happened was I powered up my laptop and I started shooting the video from my webcam. And for anybody who's familiar with just the regular webcam that comes on your laptop, you'll know that sometimes the quality of the video isn't so great, and you know, the sound quality of the video isn't good, and it looks kind of choppy and maybe slow motion-ish. And I continued on with the video regardless to what I was thinking about the quality, the sound, or anything that I could come up with reason to why I would not want to complete this video. So I continued the video. Then the thing that happened was the house phone started ringing. So I ignored the house phone and I continued speaking like nothing else was going on. And I continued with the message that I had to deliver in the video. Then after the house phone rang, then another cell phone in the house started ringing and talking, and whatever I have to say is so powerful that I had to push through this to make sure that I delivered this video to you because it's that important to me. So please watch this video to its entirety, listen to what I have to say, because I guarantee you this will change your life now. The thought of this video stemmed from a memory that I had from a few months ago, me being into real estate, me finding this seminar. I don't know who's maybe out there familiar with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki movement. Well, I went to one of his training seminars for real estate, and in front of the audience, the little crowd that was in the room. I don't know if anybody's ever been to a real estate seminar out there maybe, or you've been to another company event or something of that nature, a little training session, little room in like a hotel, one of those little banquet rooms, and there were maybe about 35 plus people in the room, right? So this lady stands in front of the room and she tells us who she is, and she's qualified to speak to us because she's made a couple million in real estate, and she was, of course, you know, trained other places, but also through the Rich Dad training. So that qualified her to speak to us because she made success and, you know, was qualified through Rich Dad to speak to us, to train us, so to speak. So she gets in front of this room and she starts, you know, at first talking about real estate, her background, and then she gets into something that was almost foreign to me at this time. I had slightly been introduced to mindset, the way of thinking that things are actually not by default, that life is not on autopilot, that things don't just happen for no reason. Everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and that actually you have more control over your life than probably you know. So I'd been slightly introduced to this concept, you know, this way of thinking, but I hadn't been fully immersed in it, okay? So I get to this training and this lady talks to us in a way that I had never heard before. She wasn't rude. I'm not saying that there was anything wrong with it. It was just like a reality slap in the face, okay? So she tells us the difference between rich people and poor people, which is only a matter of thinking. It's only a matter of mindset. What's poured in, so what's projected out. Okay, what goes in is exactly what reflects outward. And she recommended books and things of that sort. And then she spoke about the economy. For anybody who's kind of like paying attention to what's going on in the world, paying attention to the economy, paying attention to the prices of things, if you notice, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. It's not seeming to be like prices are lowering. So if they're not lowering, then they're getting higher, right? And I hear a lot of people complain about the prices of things when I'm in the store and when I'm just out and about. You know, you hear family members and things complain about gas prices and things of that sort. Well, it's no matter whether you complain about it or not. The fact is that it still remains. So either you rise to the challenge or you fall. So this lady told me something that day that just totally made me know and realize at that moment that something had to be done. And I kind of held on to this information because you think that if you tell somebody this, that they'd panic, that they might have the wrong reaction. You kind of worry, but it's like you kind of feel responsible, like there's something that needs to be done, like there's somebody who needs to say something, and that someone, I decided, has to be me. So what she shared with me is that the economy is actually headed to a place that we've never really been. Many of you are familiar with the Great Depression and how there was a period of suffering before things got better. Well, let's just say if things progress and continue that the way that they're going now, which for anyone who knows anything, the United States of America has been bankrupt for quite some time now. So if we continue on the same cycle that we're continuing on, you can look forward to something like that happening, okay? So she said it in a more blunt way. I'm giving you the information that you need. I'm not reciting it exactly how she recited it to me because I want this video to stay up. I want you to have access to this information. I want this video to remain on the internet, always for you to find it, okay? So she spoke about us being places where we've never been, about possibly the fall of economy, not even possibly, the fall of economy, and the things that would happen as a result of the fall of economy. The people that would be affected, the things that they're doing in preparation. So I learned that the rich people were already preparing for crisis, that the rich people were already putting aside land and food. This lady told me that she had land secluded off, away from people, away from chaos, and if you can imagine, if something were to happen, the rich people would be fine. So who would be in chaos? It would be anyone who wasn't rich. I don't care if you believe in middle class or not. There is really actually no such thing as middle class. The middle class has been pretty much dissolved, and you'll see even more of that. So for anyone who isn't rich, if you're not rich, you're not rich. So you'll be on the outside, right? If you're not on the inside, then you're on the outside. So they put land to the side away from people who are not rich. They've put a surplus of food, a supply of food for maybe about 6 to 12 months. Supply of food in case there's none available, in the event of crisis. They've invested in things that would last even if the dollar perishes. Now, I tell you this information because if you're not on the inside, then you're on the outside. So if you're thinking that nothing needs to be done, my life is fine, I'm happy where I am, then you might need to reconsider that. If there's an action that you know you need to take and you have not yet taken, then you might need to do something about that today. Now, it brought me to the thought of when you hear people that had loved ones that they lost, and they have these things that they say where it's like, I wish I had a chance to tell them this, or I wish they could have seen me be successful, or I wish they could have seen me do this, or they could have been here to see this. What that really means is that I wish I could have been a better person for them before they left. I wish that I was better sooner. And for those of us who have not lost loved ones, if you still have your mother, if you still have your father, if you still have your grandma, if you still have your granddad, or whoever the special someones in your life may be, then that's a good sign that you need to be the person that you would like them to see now. Because you never know what may happen in the days to come. You know, and I'm not saying that we should plan for the worst. When that cliche that you hear, live each moment, each day like it's your last, it doesn't mean think about death every day. It means to take action on the things that you need to do now, because you don't know what tomorrow may hold or may bring. But if you're prepared for anything, then there's no reason for you to have to get prepared. If you're already who you should be, who you need to be, then you won't feel bad if you lose a loved one, and you won't have to say, I wish that I could have done better. I wish that I could have shown them better. I wish that they could have seen better. I wish I would have had a chance to pay them back the debt that I owe them before they passed. I wish that I could have provided them the funeral services that my family couldn't afford. I wish that I was prepared when crisis hit. But if you prepared now, then there's no need for you to ever get prepared for anything. Because if you stay ready, there's no need for you to ever get ready for anything. So what I'm telling you today is to stay ready. Because the people who are always affected are never the people on the inside. It's the people on the outside. So if you stay on the outside and you stay out of the loop and you stay out of the know because you don't know what you don't know, the fact of the matter is that you know that there's things out there that you don't know. You know that. So if you don't take some initiative, you don't take some responsibility. Tony Rush said something really interesting about that word, responsibility. Responsibility. What does that mean, right? It means that you have the ability to respond. So if you don't reserve the ability to respond to things that happen in life, and every time something hits, every time something's coming up, you have to get ready because you're not ready, then that means you have some growing to do. That means you have some work to do. Think about it. You have more than yourself to live for. There's an actual fact that all people in this world is like a big link, like a big chain. There's only a few degrees of separation. There's only a few degrees of separation from you and any person in this world. We can all be directly linked and connected in some type of way. Look it up. Do your due diligence. There is a study that you can be linked to any person in the world. There will be a couple degrees of connection that will link you and that person directly. So you know what that means? If it's a chain, if it's a link, that means if I don't make it, the people linked to me won't make it. If you don't make it, the people linked to you might not make it. It's a chain reaction. So wouldn't you want to change? I listen to audios daily. You know, this really has a empowering effect on my life. It's caused me to be a better thinker. It's caused me to be a better speaker. It's caused me to be a better person. It's caused me to step into my power and take responsibility for things that happen in my life. Well, see, I was on that path and I wanted those things, so I found the way to do it. I found the information, even though once upon a time I didn't know it. And I didn't know it because I didn't know it existed. You never know what you don't know. But the thing is that you know that there's things out there that you don't know. And they're in books. They're in audios. So I listened to this audio and I listened to Dave Wood speak about stepping into your power. I listened to him speak directly to me about making a decision in choosing to be the person that I imagine here. Now, those are not his words. Those are pretty much my words. That's my interpretation. Okay? And that's what I want to portray to you. There's a person here. If you can just do this with me, just close your eyes and picture your most perfect self. The most powerful version of yourself that you could even imagine, that you can think of. And I want you to tell me what that person looks like, what that person dresses like, what kind of car does that person drive, how much money does that person break in monthly, what is that person's monthly income, what does that person do on a daily basis, how is that person's mood, is it steady, are they happy, are they friendly, or are they, not? If you can vision your most perfect version of yourself, I'm pretty sure you're not imagining someone who's walking around depressed, complaining, negative, broke. But if those things reflect anywhere in your life, then that actually means that your best thinking got you there. And that there's something that needs to change within you now to bring out the person that you just imagined. And if you've never imagined that person before, I want you to imagine that person daily. And I want you to do something now to step closer to that person. And then the next day, I want you to do something again to step closer to that person. And every day after that, I want you to do something to step closer to that person. Until you and that person meet and you clash and you become one with that best person that you imagine. And you know what should happen there? When you get to that best person and you shake hands with that person and become real acquainted and you become one with that person, this is called growth. You will then see that even that best person that you imagined then has a greater vision for their best person, and that's called growth. If it's not growing, it's dying. Okay? So if you're not growing, then you're dying. There's no way that you can get better and stay the same at the same time. No way. You must do something daily to get acquainted with the best version of yourself. And when you get there, you'll find that that best person has an even greater vision, because the person that you first imagined as your best self was imagined by a person who was not as great as even that better person. So it's a constant cycle. It's a constant growth pattern. I was thinking back to, I went to the Get Money event in Chicago. That's an Empower Network event. For those of you watching this video, if you're not in Empower Network, get in, join, get under some leadership, get under some instruction, some people who can stretch your vision, mold you, and help you think until you can think independently on your own. Because what you'll find is there are things there that have been prohibiting you. There are things there that have been holding you back. That there are things there within you that have created the results that you see around you. And if you're not satisfied with those results, then you need to take action. You need to get some leadership. You need to get focused, and you need some clarity. And you need a mentor, whether you are willing to accept it or not. See, there's nothing wrong with having a mentor, because there's no need to reinvent the wheel. If there's somebody succeeding at something, be humble, be proud, and be excited and happy for the fact that you have that person in your life to show you, to maybe make that journey that much easier for you, that you didn't have to figure it out on your own. That you didn't have to try to reinvent the wheel, that you didn't have to fail and fail and fail, and then maybe, in the course of failing, maybe you got tired, maybe you got weary, and you chose to just give up. But if you got a team beside you, if you got leadership, if you have a mentor, if you got that, then you got support. You have someone who's not going to let you fall if you don't want to. If you don't want to fall, you don't have to. If you don't want to fail, you don't have to. So I would recommend you to get that in your life now. I'd recommend you to get around a group of individuals who can stretch your vision now. I would recommend you to meet up with some people who can help you meet up with that girl or guy that you just visioned when I asked you to vision the most perfect version of yourself that you could possibly vision. I ask you to I ask you to run with people who can help you get there faster. And when you get leadership and you get mentors, the most important thing that you could do is listen. Listen. Not only just take in the information and keep it there and keep it a secret. No. Education is not what the definition most people portray it to be. Knowledge is not power. It's knowledge in action. Knowledge plus action is power, because knowledge is nothing more than remembering information, stored facts, which means absolutely nothing if you don't do anything with them, with the information that you learn. I call them smart dummies. We all know them. People that know everything, but their life doesn't reflect it. They have terrible relationships with people. They don't have much. They're probably broke. Their mindset is awful. They're the most negative people that you ever want to come across, but they know so much. And you're like, this person is so smart. If they just applied themselves, applied knowledge is power. Knowledge itself is meaningless if you don't apply it. So we all know them, right? Smart dummies, right? Don't just be a smart dummy. When you get the leadership, when you get mentors, when you get a team, be willing to listen. Be coachable. Be able to take in knowledge, apply it, and create results. Because without application, there are no results. I don't care what it is that you're doing, even if it is an Empower Network, even if you're watching this video and you're deciding, you know what, I'm going to do something else. I mean, go right ahead. Here, we're making it easy. Not saying that it will be easy. Nobody can guarantee you anything, because I can't guarantee you that you're going to get here. You're going to listen. You're going to get under some leadership. You're going to apply the knowledge. You're going to be dedicated. You're going to be focused. You're going to get the clarity that you need. I can't guarantee you that. I know what I did. I know I got here and I did it and it changed my life. I know I got here and I listened and I created results. I know I got here and I followed the leaders and actually duplicated their success and made money in this network. And I know that if I can do it, so can you. I know that. But that is totally not my call. That's not my decision. I know that you should be deciding to join now. I know that you should be deciding to change your course of action. I know you should be preparing for whatever may possibly come your way. If crisis were to hit, which it will, I know that you should be preparing now, because think about who will be affected. Not the people who were prepared, not the people who were ready, and that's not their fault. A lot of people get mad at rich people. They get mad at them for having things. They get mad at them for being successful. They get mad at them for being prepared and being ready for whatever. They get upset, and it's not their fault. And you're no different than them. The only difference between you and a Bill Gates is that Bill Gates made decisions and got clear on things that you didn't. He applied action after making the decision to be better, to be different, to do things against the grain, and he stuck with it. You know, the most important thing that you can do for anything that you ever set out to do is be committed. Because I have this thing where I hear a lot of people say, well, it doesn't work, or it didn't work for me, or if you stay committed to mostly anything, it will work. It's not the fact that things don't work. Stop thinking that everything doesn't work. Stop thinking that everything is here to work against you, because if you think that, then yes, it is. If that's what you believe, whatever you believe, your mind will prove it to you. Trust me. So if you believe that things are working in your favor, if you believe that right now watching this video, you're in the right place at the right time and that you're not watching this on accident, you're watching this on purpose because this is something that you needed to hear. Because there's no way, I'm going to tell you, there's no way that you could have even found this video if it weren't for you attracting this information into your life. I don't care where you found it. If you found this video on my blog, if you found this video through an email, if you're on my email list and you opened up this email and you watched this video and you watched it all the way through and you listened to the message that I said in the video, I don't care if you found it on my Facebook page, if you're my Facebook friend. However you found this information was totally on purpose, because this very well could have been the video that you chose to skip over and not press play. This could have been the blog that you didn't read. This could have been the email that you never opened. This could have been the Facebook post that you decided to scroll down past and instead read about what Kim Kardashian is doing or whatever else crazy is going on in the world. But you're here with me under the sound of my voice, listening to me now for a reason. And you know, whatever you're feeling at this moment, that there's something that you need to do about it. That there's an action that you need to take, and you need to take action now. Instead of second guessing yourself, because there's certain traits and behaviors. This is something that I learned as well. When you get under some people, when you get under some influence, you learn things and you absorb it. You suck it in you soak it up like a sponge, whether it's on purpose, intentionally, or accidentally. How many of you have been around somebody and you've been around them so much for the positive or the negative that you actually start to sound like them? You start to do things that they do. You've been around your friend so much that you make the same faces that she makes, or you tap your foot like they do, or you listen to a song that you hated and you now like it because they listen to it so much. It happens. That's just life. You are a direct reflection of the people that you spend the most time with. These sayings that you hear, they're more than cliches. They're more than just, birds of a feather flock together. We heard that. You never actually pulled out the real meaning in it. And you cannot actually go by every cliche you hear, because you gotta listen to where the information that you're absorbing is coming from. Look at the person that you're listening to. Listen to the advice that you're getting and look at that person's life. And you tell me, is that somebody that you should be listening to? I'll tell you how you should know. If that person has not created the results in life, or they're not as great as you're striving to be, then you should not be listening to them. You know why? Because a person can only advise you or teach you or guide you, instruct you, whatever it may be, to be as great as they are. That's something to think about. All my parents, tune in, listen to me. You can only raise your children to be as great as you are. I lived that life. I grew up, I didn't know what it was that I was supposed to do. My parents could not help me make a decision on what I should study in college. You know why? Because they never went. My parents were not college graduates. My parents worked jobs. My mom was mostly a stay-at-home mom. How could they help me with something that they didn't know anything about? And now here I am deciding that, you know what, college is not for me. I don't want to go and pay my money and take out loans and get into debt to learn how to be an employee, to work for someone else my entire life and make them rich. Because there is somebody at the top of the chain that's benefiting from all of the fruits of your labor, because you have not decided that you want better for you. Because you have not decided that, you know what, I want to benefit from my own labor. And that's what I'm doing here. And that's what I stand for. And that's what we do here in Empower Network. We benefit off the fruits of our own labor. Why? Because Dave and Dave gave us a platform, said, here you go, here it is, make all the money that you want, insane amounts of money. There is no cap, no limit. I don't give you any rules. Go. Be free.